Alexandra Eala pays emotional tribute to her father, the silent wind that carried my ship to shore. The Manila Sports Arena fell silent. Thousands of fans who had just watched Alexandra Eala win her third WTA title stood frozen, sensing something extraordinary was about to happen. The Filipino flag fluttered in her hands as the young tennis star took the microphone. Her voice trembled, not from exhaustion, but from emotion. "This win," she began softly, "is for my father, my silent wind, the one who never stood in the spotlight, but always carried my ship to shore." The crowd hushed. Tears glimmered in her eyes as she looked toward the stands, where her father, Michael Eala, stood quietly, hands clasped, eyes wet, a man who had given his life not for fame, but for her dream. It wasn't a speech. It was a love letter, a confession, a legacy whispered into eternity. And in that moment, the world saw not just a champion, but a daughter, the roots beneath the racket, before the trophies and the cameras, before the cheers and the headlines. There was simply a father and his little girl. In a small compound in Quezon City, a 7-year-old Alex hit her first tennis ball against a cracked wall. Her father stood beside her, not shouting instructions, not demanding perfection, just watching quietly, correcting her grip when needed, and smiling every time she missed. "Try again, Anak," he'd say, using the Tagalog word for child. "Don't aim for power. Aim for peace." That phrase would follow her for years. It wasn't about tennis. It was about life. While her mother, Riza, a former athlete herself, handled most of the competitive training, Michael was the soul of her calm, a corporate executive by day. He'd rush home to pick her up from tennis clinics at night. He'd sit in the corner of empty courts, laptop open, eyes split between spreadsheets and his daughter's backhand. He wasn't a coach in the traditional sense. He was something rarer, the wind beneath her balance, invisible but always there. The long road to Spain. When Alex was barely 13, she received the opportunity of a lifetime, a scholarship to the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. It was every young tennis prodigy's dream. But for the Eala family, it meant heartbreak and hope intertwined. The night before she left, Michael packed her bag silently, folding her shirts as if tucking away a piece of his heart in each one. "Are you sure about this?" she asked. He smiled, though his eyes betrayed the ache. "Of course I am. You were born to chase the sun, Alex. I'll be your wind, remember?" He walked her to the airport gate, his figure steady, his wave lingering long after she disappeared beyond security. Back home in Manila, he would wake up at 3 a.m. to watch her matches live stream from halfway across the world. He'd clap softly in the darkness of the living room, whispering to himself, "That's my girl." The father who waited outside the spotlight. In the hyper-competitive world of junior tennis, parental pressure often crushed young athletes. But Michael was different. He never demanded titles, never scolded losses. When Alex lost a tough match in her early years in Spain, she called home sobbing. "I failed you," she cried. Michael simply said, "You didn't fail anyone, Anak. You learned. That's victory, too." His belief in her was quiet, but unbreakable. Her mother would sometimes joke, "Your father is a calm before every storm." And Alex would smile, because that was exactly who he was, the one who steadied her spirit when the world tried to shake it. The letter. During her first year abroad, Michael began writing her letters, actual letters on paper, sent through mail. The first one read, "Dear Alex, don't rush your greatness. Even flowers need darkness to grow. Be patient with yourself. The world will see what I already see, a heart that refuses to give up. Love, Dad." She kept every one of those letters in a small box beside her bed in Mallorca. On tough days, when training broke her spirit or homesickness clawed at her chest, she'd pull one out, read it slowly, and feel the wind again. The letters were never about victory. They were about faith, the first major win. When Alex won her first junior Grand Slam doubles title in 2020, she called her father moments after the trophy ceremony. The world saw a grinning teenager holding a trophy. Michael saw his little girl who used to chase tennis balls barefoot in their driveway. "Did you see, Dad?" she said breathlessly. "I saw," he replied, voice breaking. but I've always seen you. He didn't need to be there to feel the weight of the moment. He'd already lived it through every sleepless night, every prayer whispered over video calls, every silent hope carried through distance, the quiet pillar during storms. Not every chapter of her career was triumphant. Injuries, self-doubt, and mental fatigue struck like unseen storms. In one particularly difficult season, when Alex's ranking plummeted and critics questioned her potential, she called her father in tears. "Maybe I'm not built for this," she whispered. He paused, then said softly, "Ships don't stop sailing because of the wind, Alex. They move because of it. Use your storm." She would later write those words on the inside of her racket bag. That year, she returned stronger than ever, gritty, composed, and unshakably calm. The 2024 Asian Games moment. At the 2024 Asian Games in Hangzhou, Alex made history by winning the gold medal in women's singles, the first for Philippines in over half a century. As she stood on the podium, the national anthem playing, her eyes searched the stands. And there he was, her father, wearing a cap low over his eyes, clapping quietly, tears streaming down his cheeks. When she descended, she ran straight into his arms. "We did it," she whispered. "No," he replied gently. "You did it." But she knew the truth. Every win had always been theirs. The final scene, months after her emotional tribute. During a rare break from tournaments, Alex and her father visited a quiet beach in Batangas. The sun was setting, orange light spilling across the waves. They didn't talk much, just walked barefoot along the shore, the sound of the sea filling the spaces words couldn't. At one point, Alex turned to him and asked, "Dad, do you ever miss the old days?" He chuckled softly. "I never left them, Anik. They live in every match you play." She leaned her head on his shoulder, the ocean breeze brushing past him like a blessing. In that moment, everything, the fame, the trophies, the applause, fell away. All that remained was a father and a daughter, bound by love deeper than victories, older than words. Epilogue, the wind and the ship. Alexandra Eala once said her dream was not just a win, but to become worthy of the love that built her. And perhaps that's what makes her story so moving, not just the triumphs, but the tenderness behind them. Because behind every champion, there is someone unseen, someone who carries, steadies, and believes. Her father, Michael Eala, may never lift a trophy, but through his daughter, he has already won the grandest title of all, a legacy of quiet strength. And as long as Alexander sails forward, through storms, through glory, through life, the wind that carried her ship to shore will always follow, unseen but eternal. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.